Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. I, of course, am here with your daily mortgage rate update. Where else can you jump online at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time and talk about rates and pricing? Nowhere that I know, only here with me. So thank you, all of you that join me live each and every day. I do appreciate y'all. If you're here live, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, go ahead, give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. Today, we're going to talk about I don't know. We're going to have to find something to talk about. There's really not much going on today. So there is an interesting tidbit about capital gains tax on home sales that there's a proposal. So I'll show you that article real quick. Otherwise, just kind of what's going on with rates and the normal stuff. So anyway, if you're here this morning, say good morning. Don't forget to smash that like button. Remember to go ahead and comment on what's going on. If you would like a text reminder that I'm going live each morning, you can get that at hmmr.io/reminder or use this cool QR code over here. Also, we send out our free daily email lock advice at at ratelockadvice.com or use this cool QR code. Remember, you can sign up for that and get that to your inbox each morning. Also, if you would like text alerts, we've got our rate text alert service where we send out a morning alert and an afternoon wrap up alert, and then alerts through the day in case there is risk that things are going to get worse. So check those out at ratetextalerts.com. So, all right, let's go ahead and say hi to all the live folks here this morning. Mike Morano, good morning, sir. No, I did not see the Bill Pulte interview on Laura Ingraham's show. Not. Maybe I'll Google it. Did he sound like as much of an imbecile as I think he is? Because I think he's an. You're not allowed to say. I think he's an imbecile. That's we'll leave it at that. I think he's an imbecile. What do you think, Morano? I'm curious because again, we could disagree. I don't think everyone has to agree with me, even though I'm right. It's okay. So, Tim Klyla, good morning, sir. Jerry Avila, good morning. Yep, home safe. It was awesome seeing you at summer camp. Sorry we didn't get to spend more time together. I didn't get to really sit down and chat with you that much, so I'm sorry about that. But Jared, good morning. Randy Teakle, you know what? The little kitties, it's been 2 weeks. They are in the dog bakery. They have not been adopted yet. I'm sad. I think it's because there's two of them and they're what's called bonded, so they have to be adopted together. But that was George and Sophia that you saw running around in the office. Otherwise, Millie, my other cat, no, she doesn't miss me. She's a very independent black cat, which they're known for, little kind of standoffish. So good morning, Megan, Bissell, and Morano. I still didn't see the Bill Pulte interview. Your comment on that. Like, what did he say? What did he talk about? Was it anything interesting on there? Curious. Julie Lawrence, Amy Blauser, good morning. Mike Brown, Randy Teakle, giddy up, sir. Mark Clark, Holly Johnson, good morning. Ms. Fotiadis, great to have you here. Laura McCain, good morning. My man Ron Siegel says today is National Vanilla Ice Cream Day. National Vanilla Ice Cream Day. So the question of the day is not what is your favorite flavor of ice cream, because I think we've done that before. Question of the day today is what is your favorite thing to put vanilla ice cream on? So let me go ahead and pull that up. What is your favorite thing to put vanilla ice cream on? So like you got vanilla ice cream on nice warm peach pie. For me, vanilla ice cream on molten chocolate lava cake. Molten chocolate lava cake. If I'm going to have vanilla ice cream, I want it on top of molten chocolate lava cake. That's my thing. Look at these raccoon eyes. I'll put my glasses back on so they're a little less, you can look at the reflections and a little less of my but let me know, what is your favorite thing to put vanilla ice cream on? All right. So while you guys are talking about that, let's go ahead and jump in, get to the good stuff here, what we got going on this morning. Let me go ahead and flip over here. So quick recap, what happened yesterday. Let me pull this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little clearer. Let me zoom in. Here you go. All right. Zoom out a little. There you go. Zoom in between. Come on. There you go. Okay. I think I have to load up Presentify because there it is. All right. So looking at Presentify, pricing came out basically right around here. So bonds, you saw there was a nice improvement through the morning. Started out negative on the day and actually went, positive, and we basically ended the day flat. Things were pretty solid. This morning, a bit of a loss, and then a little bit lower. So, again, you'll see. We'll just do a little dotted line here. You'll see that because we do have this section here where things are a little bit lower, you'll see pricing that's off just a tiny bit from yesterday. Richie should be about the same, really not much of a difference at all, generally holding steady. We take a look at Mortgage News Daily. I mean, we're looking at 6.81, 6.78, 6.77. Today would be back to 6.78. I mean, really, we're just kind of holding steady. Been in the high sixes. Rates have really been steady and solid. Reprice risk on the day is low. There's really not much going on the economic calendar on the day. We have a 20-year Treasury auction this afternoon at 1 o'clock. That is the only thing that's on the calendar for today. That really, we've got like home sales stuff this week, but none of that matters. Existing home sales, new home sales. Tomorrow's jobless claims. That'll, of course, be a bigger thing. Don't really care about the ECB rates. And then we got durable goods on Friday. And even that, not really going to be a big deal. We knew that this was going to be a really quiet week and that there wouldn't be much going on as far as the economic calendar. Rates would generally hold steady for this week. Next week, a much bigger story, though, because next week we've got the Fed meeting. Fed meeting is about a week from today. Let me go ahead and adjust this. We'll talk a little bit about that part there. By the way, my administration hero, Scott Bessent, this morning, he is out there. Here he is, the only guy in this administration that I truly respect. Bessent says Japan's financing pitch sealed the tariff deal as EU talks loom. So basically, the newest stuff on tariffs. What we're looking at here is that we did just strike a deal with Japan. That's really, I mean, you could argue that had some effect this morning on bonds, but I don't know. It would be a nominal effect, even if you want to say that it did. You're talking 10 basis points. So this tariff stuff, not really much of a big deal. So, but we did get this in place at about 15%. And now they're doing an EU deal. They're looking at getting a deal with the European Union in place. So we'll see. Stocks rise on trade deal hope as bonds halt the rally. Record-breaking run in stocks gained fresh fuel after the U.S. reached a trade agreement with Japan, with investors soon turning their attention to earnings from tech giants. Hedgeries halted a 5-day advance amid waning demand. Excuse me. Halted a 5-day advance amid waning demand for Haven assets. So again, according to these kinds of headlines, that is basically your argument why we ended yesterday at 99.52 and we're at 99.41. So, you're looking at 10 basis points. It's really not much of a movement at all. It's almost a non-issue. So that's what we've got going on with that part. Hopes for other trade deals before President Trump's August 1st deadline give fresh impetus to the equity market. Blah, 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 blah. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stopped short of saying the European Union can win the same sort of trade deal as Japan by highlighting Tokyo's success came thanks to an innovative financing arrangement. The EU plans to quickly hit the U.S. with 30% tariffs on some $100 billion worth of goods in the event of no deal if Trump carries through with his threat to impose that rate on most of the bloc's exports. Again, I'm going to disagree with Ron Siegel on this one. I definitely see that tariffs have hit a lot of companies and to some extent consumers. So I don't think that this is a non-thing. I think it continues to be what it has been, which is a tax on American companies. Randy, the weather over my ride was fantastic. Tremendously more sun than rain. I did not have to put my rain suit on coming back. I was really lucky coming through parts of Kentucky where the second day where I was right behind a rainstorm. So as it was leaving, I was driving behind it. So the roads were wet, but I wasn't. So I had great weather. Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mike Morano. And there we go. All right. So taking a look here, what else we got going on? There's really nothing. There's really not much else to talk about. But this is what I wanted to get. Also in Trump's mind, Federal Reserve Jerome Powell, who the president told Republican lawmakers is only going to be there a short while, and the housing market. Trump said he's considering a proposal to end capital gains tax. I love how, and this is the media. Okay, this is the media. Trump is considering a proposal to end capital gains tax. So when you open that article and you read it, here's what we get with this article, right? President Trump said he is considering a proposal to end capital gains tax in, it's like, it's always him, right? But now he says we're thinking about that, but it would but would also unleash it just by lowering the interest rates. If the Fed would lower the rates, we wouldn't even have to do that, but we're thinking about no tax on capital gains on houses. Again, I've come with receipts. If the Fed lowers rates, it is going to help mortgage rates nominally, but you're talking a quarter point to a half a point, even if the Fed does lower rates significantly from here through, 2026. Right now, markets are currently projecting that there will be 2 cuts in 2025. That's what you're looking at right here. That's what the majority is priced in, is 2 rate cuts. This is 1 rate cut at about 30%. This is more at 21%. So markets are already pricing that in. It's already in mortgage rates. So if the Fed started dropping, it would be how much more are they dropping after that? That's what we would have to see mortgage rates have any kind of improvement at all on that. And at the end of the day, there's so many other things beyond this that would actually help mortgage rates. This is not going to drive mortgage rates down that much. There's no quantitative easing. They're not buying up mortgage-backed securities. You're not going to. The mortgage rates are at what would be considered healthy levels. Ron says, "How much do you pay on?" Here you go. Ron says, "How much do you pay on a product you do not purchase? They could put a 30% tariff on a group of products. They might make the product undesirable." I don't know. You're out on a limb on that one, though. What that might make the product undesirable, so the tariff has no inflationary effect. How many things are people not buying? Cars, copper. Sean Segaloff talked about copper. Talked to an electrician, asked about how much copper costs them now and how it's affecting their business. And a lot of times, companies will raise prices on this stuff in anticipation of what's coming next. So yeah, absolutely, dude. I mean, it's there. It's hitting. I can go through Wall Street Journal articles with you and show you the earnings that have been marked down and all the different things on that. Speaking of earnings, I'll tell you one that was interesting to me. I don't know if I can find it real quick in the Wall Street Journal, but it was the home prices for new homes being built, and they were saying that new homes are not moving as much and different things. But how much did material go up compared to home prices in the last few years? I'd love to get that percentage, because at the end of the day, D.R. Horton and Pulte and all these big home builders, they're building homes. If a home costs them $100,000 and now it costs them $150,000 to build, well, but that home was selling for $200,000 and now it's selling for $400,000. Their profit margins all went up because home values have gone up so dramatically, more so than whatever should have happened. So because of that, like these companies are making huge bill, and it wasn't Horton. I forgot which one it was. It was making $1.2 billion in the quarter in profit. These companies are huge. Susan, should I sell my second home now or wait to see if they do it with capital gains tax? They were talking about it for being on primary residence. Let me go back to that. So anyway, going back to this, right? Trump was asked about the plan by Brian Glenn, a reporter from the conservative Real America's Voice Network, who's in a relationship with, gotta love this, not that he's in a relationship with, they're grown adults, let them be what they're going to be, but the fact that she shared something with him and he asked Trump about it. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene is this woman here. And she is from Georgia, right? So take a look here. This is the part that gets me. The Republican lawmaker, not Trump, recently introduced a bill called the No Tax on Home Sales Act that would eliminate federal capital gains tax on sales of primary residences. So that is your answer, Susan. It would only be on primary residences, not on second homes. So keep it on there. And then Trump said, nobody knew that. How did you find that out? Under current law, filers can exclude as much as $250,000 from taxable income. Of course, that is doubled for married filing jointly or couples filing jointly. And it has not been raised since 1997. So I could see it getting raised at some point, right? But do you think that this would create more inventory? Do you think capital gains taxes are holding people back from selling houses in markets like Ron Siegel's markets in California, Massachusetts, the East Coast, Connecticut? I think there's definitely, it comes into play. I mean, you got houses that people have been in for a long time that they would be selling at, $750,000 or $1 million in capital gains. That's a lot of money to pay tax on. But it is capital gains tax. It's at a lower rate. But yeah, I do think something like this would bring in a little bit of inventory, not enough to matter. But Tim Clylo says no, not in his market. MTG is an extremist. Yes, but that's not the the thing that we're focused on here now, Ron, which I don't disagree with you on. But it's the fact that I love how they say, well, Trump is going to propose. Donald Trump is considering. Well, it's not. It's through our government and through Congress, and it's going through here. It's an introduction of a bill, and this is why media makes it sound like the main. It's just the whole thing. Just looking at history, Trump is a disruptor. He will need Congress beyond executive orders in regard to tariffs. I've been traveling a lot since April. They're being absorbed elsewhere. We built a lanai in Florida, a new roof in Michigan. Price the same as 2024, quotes, no increase. That's because of the material, what you're particularly talking about. But there's so many other examples of tariffs that are out there. You look at, I mentioned GM and the haircut that they took for the second quarter. They anticipate it being even worse for the third quarter and all this stuff here. So scroll down, please. Where am I scrolling down? Do you want here or on the comments? Where am I scrolling? Did you say something else? He gave a great background to COVID. Even more importantly, why a $2.5 billion. More importantly, why a $2.5 billion Fed building renovation. Again, that's not even his role, though. So I don't know. They keep dwelling on this part. I didn't know what you need me to scroll on, dude. So just let me know and I'll scroll. So anyway, let's take a look and see what y'all put for your favorite ice cream, and then we'll wrap it up for today. So. What is your favorite thing to put vanilla ice cream on? Because Ron Siegel pointed out that today is National Vanilla Ice Cream Day, because vanilla gets its own. We need a good morning, Alan Christian. We need a chocolate ice cream day. And when we said this, y'all said apple pie. Certainly nothing more American than apple pie and ice cream. Tom Deadmore is a chocolate guy. Dark chocolate brownie. Yeah, that's like that molten lava cake that I was talking about, warmed up. Vanilla ice cream on apple pie. Randy Teagle, hot apple pie. Yeah, ice cream and apple pie, baby. Brownie smothered in fudge. Question of the day could be dangerous. Be careful. Favorite thing to put ice cream on? Yes, this is a safe for work show, Mr. Segeloff, you funny man. Good morning, Yasmin Martin, Kim Mason. Let's see, just looking to see if y'all have any other answers. All right. Well, it looks like we're wrapped up here. Looks like y'all are finished. So that's it for the day. Again, no reason to lock, no urgency. Everything looks quiet. Should be a quiet day. Reprice risk on the day is low. Rate sheet should be very similar to yesterday, maybe a smidge worse, but just a tiny, tiny smidge. Rates very stable as we've seen. So hope you all have a fantastic day. Tomorrow we've got jobless claims. We'll see a little bit more movement, but I don't think anything to worry about. Take care, everybody. Make it a great one. Bye-bye.